What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. The All-Star break's over. Basketball's back. Thank you, Jesus. I want to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers because this team is playing some really, really damn good basketball, and they've been really good pretty much all year long, surviving some injuries, things like that to all their star players. And they're one of the better teams in the entire NBA and one of the best teams in the East. And I think they should be taken seriously. And I want to talk about why. Before I do, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video, but let's get into it. So they're 39-19 now, I believe, and they just came back from a 17-point deficit against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are a really, really good team out west. 17 points down and coming back. They were down by like 10 with like 4 or 5 minutes left, and pretty much all their guys made plays down the stretch. So it was a really, really good comeback win. Before this game, a couple weeks ago, they made a really nice trade for McDaniels, who he's a really good backup four that can play some five in some moments like that. So I really liked that trade. I thought it gave them a little extra depth, which they really needed in the front court. And the team looks really good. Defensively, they're one of the very best teams in the entire NBA. Defense is flat out elite. They're, I think, the number 3 ranked defense in the entire NBA at this point, which, we're played 60 games almost. Being a number 3 defense in the entire league, in the playoffs, defense is what really comes out because the best defensive teams are typically the ones that win in the end. Because you got to be able to get stops, and this team knows how to get stops. They got good to great defenders, and you got McDaniels, like I already talked about, PJ Tucker. Joel is obviously one of the very best rim protectors in the entire game. Tobias can play some defense, and then DeAnthony Melton's one of like the most pesky wing/forward guards, whatever you want to call him. He guards pretty much 1 through 3.5, 4, and he's very, very good at it. You're going to see a lot of games with him with 2 blocks, 3 steals, just fills it up on defense. As a team, they force the 10th most turnovers in the entire league, so they turning people over, getting out in transition a little bit, makes offense easier. I think they have the 8th most steals per game, so they're pesky on defense. They get up in your jersey, they're in passing lanes, and they're very, very good at creating turnovers and creating offensive opportunities off of them. They don't have a tendency to foul a lot, which is a really good metric because you don't want to be giving the other team freebies, letting them get in rhythm. They play really stifling defense without fouling, so that's a great thing to be looking at. And then covering the 3-point line, they give up like the least made threes per game in the entire NBA. Sorry, fact check that. They give up the second least threes in the entire NBA. So in this spread out game where everybody's jacking up threes, giving up the least amount of them while not fouling on the interior and especially on the perimeter, they're just setting themselves up for success because there's going to be games in the playoffs where you can't hit a shot, but you're going to have to be able to stop somebody and make sure they're not hitting shots, keeping yourself in it, and they have the makings to be able to do that, which is what championship teams can do. Offensively, in most metrics, they're middle of the pack, which is a little surprising to me given the amount of talent they have offensively, but I don't know. I think they're a decent offense. They're really good, especially in spacing the floor. They hit a lot of threes per game. They're top 5 in 3-point percentage. They're also the most efficient team from the free throw line, which, when you have James Harden and Joel Embiid, who both shoot, 85+% pretty much every single night, you're going to be in good shape from the free throw line because those guys are going to get there. Which another thing in the playoffs, you got to be able to hit your free throws because these games are decided by 1, 2, 3 points. That's where it really comes down to a lot of times. Turnovers, 3-point percentage, and free throws. So being really good in all those metrics is such a good sign. And the reason I don't really worry about the offense too much is they've got good scorers in Tobias, and then you have Maxey, who's really, really good. Niang can hit some threes, even though I do think his light is a little too green, but Niang can hit some threes for you. Anthony Melton can make some plays. So just those guys, and then your stars. You got Joel Embiid, who is a top 3-4 player in the entire NBA, depending who you talk to. The dude had 20-something and 19 rebounds and 6 assists and 6 blocks tonight. Hasn't happened since 2018, and he did it tonight in a comeback win. He's awesome in every way of the word. And then you have Harden, who had, I think, 31, 7, and 7 or something like that tonight. And he just looks like his old self in terms of his speed, his aggressiveness to the rim. He looks very, very fluid. Doesn't look like he's getting held up by his hamstring anymore. And he looks like old James Harden, which, he's not going to go out there and give you 60 or anything like that like he used to do in Houston. But when you're playing with Embiid, you don't really need him to do that anyway. So I think Harden being a really, really good second option on this team perfect. Like, he's playing about as good as basketball as you can ask for out of your second option, and he's been effective in every way of the word. The only worry I have with this team isn't really even the team; it's the coaching. I'm not a big Doc guy. I don't really believe in Doc Rivers. I just hasn't really done anything except for 1 year in Boston where the team was loaded. I just can't get behind him too much. I feel like there's just too much risk in going into a playoff series where the other coach is going to outperform him. And coaching does matter in basketball, because if your coaching is terrible, you're not winning. Because you need to have a coach that knows when to pull the right strings, when to call the timeout, when you need to drop a play out of a timeout, as to when they need a pep talk. Doc, I just don't know. He's the one worry I have with his team, which sucks because I want to see them succeed. I want to see Embiid succeed, Harden particularly. And I don't know if I trust Doc. And in the comments, let me know if I'm stupid for saying that, if you disagree, or if you're like, you know what, that is the one reason I would not trust this team either, or I wouldn't put a lot of faith into them, is because of him. Because talent-wise and everything like that, I believe in the guys they have. I think they have enough to make it happen. I just question the coaching. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I think this team is really, really good. Defensively is an awesome way to look at them, because they're one of the best defensive teams in the entire NBA. And that it's going to give them a shot in the playoffs. But I don't know about Doc. So, yeah, that's kind of a sad way to end this one. But I love the team. I just don't know about the coaching. Let me know how you feel about that, where you're at on the Philadelphia 76ers down the stretch. Where do you see them? Do you think they can get to the title? Do you think they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals? Where do you think they finish this year? Because I'm very, very intrigued on this. They're a polarizing team. I like the team. I just don't trust the coaching quite enough. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But I hope the Sixers keep it up. I hope they roll into the playoffs. I hope Doc proves me wrong. I really like the makings of this team. A lot of these guys are great, and they can make it happen. But we'll see. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm done here. Thanks for watching. Peace.